Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with internationally recognized pianist, arranger, composer, and producer Delvon Lamarr of the Organ Trio. We had a good talk about their latest 2022 CD, Cold as Weiss, COVID Life, and so much more. Over the course of the last 5 years, the Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio has established themselves as the world's premier funky organ trio. Along with their founder and manager, Amy Novo, they have had charting albums, sold-out shows, tens of thousands of albums sold, and millions of streams, and they are just beginning. Essentially, they specialize in the lost art of feel-good music, very much so needed in this world of ours. Enjoy the story.
All right, cool, man. So as we kind of talked last time, I think the starting point here is, are you touring and kind of getting out and doing some live shows now?
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of touring. We got a couple of weekend dates and stuff like that, but starting in April, we're going to be hitting it full on with a 35-day, I think, European tour.
So, I mean, with Cold as Weiss coming out and touring happening, does it feel a little bit more like you're human now?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. It's, during the downtime, we did a couple of live streams, but there's nothing like being on the stage in front of people,
So talk to me about the new album. This has to be a big relief, I think, to be able to have an album come out now. And obviously things are opening up for you to perform it. But I've listened to it. It's a wonderful album. It just stays in the vein of what you cats do, which is just such a wonderful, fresh sound. Talk to me a little bit about constructing this particular CD.
This album, we actually recorded it when everything got shut down, It was kind of tough because, at the time, Dan Weiss, our new permanent drummer, was living in Reno. Jimmy lives in Seattle, and I live in Pullman, Washington, which is about 4.5 hours east of Seattle. So it was very difficult for us to actually get together. So what we would do is whenever we can get Dan up here for either doing a live stream or, our one-off gig or something like that, we'll try to cram in a writing session. Some of the stuff on the album we actually had finished before we went into the studio, but some of it we actually created in the studio, the Big TT Blues, that was written in the studio. Uncertainty was written in the studio. Those weren't even ideas when we came in there. We just kind of pulled it out of nowhere.
So what do you ultimately want the listener to get from this album?
Well, like I said, man, like I always say, the goal for us is, to make people feel good throughout, just in general, but especially nowadays, it's been hard for, everybody really, just kind of, a lot of people are feeling down and stuff like that because of what's going on and kind of trajectory of the way things are going on, that we want to bring a little light into people's lives. And, and one of the reasons we call our music feel-good music is to get people to feel good. They listen to our record and kind of forget about all of that stuff, even if it's just for a minute. It's important.
So talk to me a little bit about how the trio came together. How long have you guys been around, and kind of how did you all kind of get together and create this nucleus? The whole idea for this band was actually my wife, Amy Novo. She was the one that actually put this band together. I didn't want to start a band. It wasn't my thing. I've been in bands with these band leaders pulling their hair out, trying to keep cats together and dealing with all this stuff, man. I said I never want to do that. I just want to play music. My wife, she recognized my talent. So we've been together 16 years, and she's recognized my talent from the start. And she was just like, man, you're way too good to just be running around, being sideman, not making any money. Sometimes I'd pay money to play, because I didn't make enough money to actually justify doing the gig. But again, I just wanted to play. And so she said, you guys write some music, get some guys together, write some music, and I'll take care of all the rest. And, and that's how we started. Our first show that she booked us was a residency
at a club called the Royal Rooms where we started, and we didn't have any music, so we would just go there and jam for like 3 hours, and we did that every week, and that's kind of how the band started.
What about you? What was the flashpoint for you to become a musician and to really get interested in this blend of jazz that you dig?
Well, I've always wanted to be a musician, even since junior high school. Even when I got to high school, my high school that I grew up in didn't really have a band. So they tried. There were like 500 drummers and like like 4 other instruments. You know, it didn't really have a band, and so they used to partner up with other high schools just to get like some kids, you know, together. But it never quite really took off. So what I did was I had a band outside of high school. We were called Variations, the Jazz Disciples. And it was just like 4 of us. And we used to run around playing gigs and like spoken words and stuff like that. But I've always known I wanted to be a musician, like pretty much since like 6th, 7th grade. It's just been a challenge, you know, because it wasn't really looked at as a career. It's like a lot of times you hear, oh, you need to get a real job. You know, I got that a lot, and it's like you better have something to fall back on. So it was more looked at as a hobby than an actual career. But I was kind of wanted it to be a career. I just didn't know how to make that happen. And that's kind of where my wife came to play. Like, she knew how to make that happen. And she did.
So what was the first live jazz show that you ever saw that blew you away?
The first jazz show I've ever seen that blew me away was Joey DeFrancesco and Dr. Lonnie Smith together. It was like one band, 2 organs, drums, and a guitar. And that show was spectacular. It was amazing. I can't recall how old I was, but I was a young organist, so I had just started playing organ, and I just discovered who these guys are, you know, and so I was probably about 22, 23 maybe. Yeah, that show, it really took, you know, the organ. Like, I already knew I wanted to play organ, but that show took my thought, my perception of playing the organ to a whole nother level.
Well, you know, now that you've been doing this for a while and you've been at it, what do you like the best about being a professional musician? What do you look forward to the most every day?
I love being on the stage. I love being in front of people. I like making people laugh. And I don't know, it's just a feeling I get when I know people aren't enjoying themselves. It's everything to me, really. That's what I like to get, man. I love to get people to engage. I don't care about dancing. None of that stuff doesn't matter to me. What I like people is to be engaged in us. Like, if you're standing there in awe, even if you don't move an inch, but you're just sitting there and you're really digging what we're doing, that's everything to me right there.
So, you know, during this time of quarantine and, you know, self-reflection, what did you learn about yourself that maybe you didn't realize before that's going to make you stronger as you reemerge and promote a new album and tour more?
One thing that happened, like, you know, we used to tour a lot, you know, pre-pandemic. When everything got shut down, like, it sucked as far as, like, financially, because we made most of our money, you know, being on the road and stuff like that. But it also had an upside, and the upside to it is we had all this time to sit home, and we got super creative. So I've been actually writing lyrics. I started singing. In fact, we working on an album or a project right now called D-Lo 3 and Friends that is going to incorporate Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio with people we've met over the years on the road, you know, like when we're in Europe or in the States and stuff like that, and we're going to incorporate them into this album. It's going to be a recording project. Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio is still going to be Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio, but we got, you know, I've been seriously been writing lyrics, and I've never wrote a lyric a day in my life until now. So like right now, I probably wrote like 20 songs, and it just literally just came out of nowhere. Yeah, we just got super creative. Not only me, but actually my wife too. She's never written a song in her life, and she actually, on the Cold as Weiss album, a song called "Keep On Keeping On," she actually wrote that start to finish. A lot of people don't believe it, but she did. That was the upside to, having to stay home and, not be on the road.
So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but ultimately you live your life. You have a perception of you. Who do you think you are?
I tell people this all the time, man. I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a guy who plays the organ. I'm a normal dude. Sometimes people are hesitant to come and talk to me because, I don't know, maybe it's that perception that they get from, like, other, I guess, I don't really consider myself famous, but other popular musicians or famous musicians where they're unapproachable. So sometimes it seems like a thing, but man, I'm just a dude, man. I just play the organ. I mean, I'm no different from anybody else. You come and talk to me. I like having conversations with people, just real conversations. I'm just a dude.
Cool. I like it, man. Thank you, man, for taking some time out to talk to Neon Jazz. Good luck with the tour and the album. You guys got such a wonderful groove, man.
Hey, cool. Thank you, man.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Seattle, New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Delvon for his time, music, and cool. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.